The many waves of migration, colonial and post-colonial, make Singapore's Indian community's history of migration quite diverse. This identity of theirs is also unique because of their ability to adapt to local cultures. In terms of tracing the diverse identities of Singapore's South Asian and Indian communities, at IHC we look at dress and how that is a marker of identity. This headgear is quite unique. If you look at it, it's made out of batik cloth. Now its name is talapa. If you know Tamil, you'll know that talapa is a word for headgear. Now how this came about is that this headgear is actually worn by men of the Chitti Malacca community. The Chitti Malacca are descendants of traders who settled in the region as early as the 14th and the 15th century, and they married local women, and these local women were either of Chinese or Malay origin, and they are largely a Shaivite Hindu community with the exception of some being Christians and Muslims as well. And in terms of their headgear, there's this beautiful expression of their hybrid culture, and it's a beautiful sort of confluence of their identities being both South Asian and Malay. The Parsis arrived in Singapore as early as the 19th century. The unique thing about the Parsi community is that in the 18th century they were involved with trade as far east as with China, and this included trade of cotton, opium, etc. So when we look at the Parsi community, there's a beautiful example of the byproduct of their Indo-Chinese trade, and that is the embroidered cloths that they brought with them back to India. Now we have two jablus on display at the Indian Heritage Center, but one of them is a rather unique example. Dates to the early 20th century, and on purple silk you have off-white embroidery of definitely Chinese inspired motifs of flora and fauna placed alongside each other, with Chinese pheasants and fowls and peacocks, bringing about this beautiful confluence of Chinese aesthetics for a tunic that is worn by a traditional community from South Asia.